Welcome to the business meeting for Wednesday, December 23rd, 2020. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of
allegiance to the flag of the
United
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Grace.
Okay. Councilman Scaringi,
Present.
Councilwoman Restinetti,
Present.
Councilwoman Riley,
Present.
Councilwoman Friedman,
Present.
Councilman Burns,
Present.
Councilman Strawn,
Present.
President Scanlon.
Present.
It's all 7 here.
Okay, on to approval of minutes from the December 9th, 2020 business meeting. Councilman Strawn, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask council for unanimous approval of the minutes from the December 9, 2020 business meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Grace, I believe we're going to public comment now.
Yes, we will.
You
Okay.
have 5 minutes to speak. Grace will hand out the number. You have 5 minutes to speak, and please be respectful. Thank you.
Okay, the number to call for public comment is 772-7101. Again, that number is 772-7101.
Hearing no one? Let's wait a minute. Okay.
You're fine.
Hi, you're calling for public comment? Okay, name and address, please. Okay, give me 1 second. I will put you on speaker. Okay, this is Tina Chronopoulos. She lives at 37 Laurel Ave.
Great. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, super. Hi, my name is Tina Chronopoulos, and I am represented by Councilwoman Restinetti. I have a couple of things that I would like to talk to you about this evening. Again, I bring up the stakeholder coalition, still no news. What I also want to talk to you about is something that happened 2 weeks ago. You will remember that you had the work session at which some council members grilled Elliot Wagner of the Joint Sewage Treatment Plant in a really unusual way. And then I phoned and made a comment about this. And at the end of the meeting, Council President Scanlon thought it would be, I don't know, useful to, point out that I don't know what I'm talking about. President Scanlon, I invite you to speak for yourself only, please. And you are misinterpreting my words. I am not criticizing you for doing your job, which is precisely to ask questions to the people who work for this city. I am criticizing you for not doing your job when you needed to do it, namely during the budget hearing, all sorts of other council meetings. Famously, at the budget hearings, which lasted more than 10 hours, I went through them again. The council person who represents me only asked maybe 1 or 2 questions. So I am sorry, but if I come into a council meeting and work sessions and I see you not doing your job and then suddenly you start doing it, I don't think you can fault me when I start wondering why you are selectively asking questions the way you were. I can't help but speculate that there is something afoot and that is not quite the way it should be done. So maybe rather than berating me publicly at the end of the session, you could actually answer my question. And quite frankly, the kinds of questions you are asking of Elliot Wagner, who I presume came prepared to the meeting, but wasn't briefed on what exactly he was going to be asked about, I'm not surprised that some of the questions he wasn't able to answer, since you were going into great detail. And I find it really difficult to believe that my council person in particular has suddenly developed a deep and abiding interest in the way that the was the general tone that came out of the mayor's office after the big snowstorm. I would like to say that kudos to the people who've been doing snow removal all through the city. I'm a little bit disappointed with the tone that the mayor has taken on Twitter and on Facebook, calling on people to not park in the streets, to park in parking lots, to park in driveways. May I please remind you that not everyone has access to a private driveway? May I please also remind you that not everyone is surrounded by neighbors who are accommodating and friendly? And may I please also remind you that not everyone has means and ability to get their car out of the snow and take it to a public parking facility after such a big snowstorm? May I also please remind you that it's been quite difficult to dig out the cars after the big snowstorm, even, after 24 or even 48 hours, and to ask people to park on the other side of the street, right? So I think it goes both ways. I just don't appreciate the tone that is being taken with the public. It sounds really patronizing, telling us how we should be doing things when we're really trying the best that we can. May I also remind you that, unless I'm wrong, we in Binghamton and Broome County pay some of the highest taxes on our housing comparative to the worth that our houses are, right? For you, council members, some of whom can't bother to ask probing questions, and then spend that money in ways that maybe isn't helpful. So I don't know, I'm just out here being engaged, and I don't appreciate being told what I don't know and what I do know. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Again, the number to call is 772-7101. The number is 772-7101.
Grace, announce the number again, please.
Okay, the number again is 772-7101.
We'll give another
772-7101.
minute here. All right, we're going to close the public comment section of the meeting. On to the preferred agenda. Would anybody like anything removed from the preferred agenda? All right, Grace, would you please read the preferred agenda?
Yeah. Introductory ordinance 20-109 considered in finance, an ordinance to amend the 2020 budget to fund a cleanup of 26 Seminary Avenue.
Questions or comments? Okay, go ahead, Grace.
Introductory ordinance 20-112 considered in finance, an ordinance to amend the 2020 fire department budget for overtime.
Any questions or comments on this? Okay, Grace, move on, please.
Introductory ordinance 20-113 considered in finance, an ordinance to amend the 2020 state retirement budget for police, fire, New York State employee retirement.
Comments? Grace, move on to 20-114, please.
Introductory ordinance 20-114 considered in finance, an ordinance to amend the 2020 City Hall operation of plant budget for court improvements.
Any comments on this? Grace, which one? Go ahead.
Introductory ordinance 20-115, considered in finance, an ordinance to create new revenue and expense lines for the ESD Stadium District Grant and Stadium District Project.
Comments? Okay, Grace, move on, please.
Introductory ordinance 20-116, considered in finance, an ordinance to amend the 2020 sewer budget to use funds from unused ban and bond interest and principal to pay additional interest due in health insurance.
Comments? Okay, Grace.
Introductory ordinance 20-117, considered in finance, an ordinance to amend the 2020 water fund budget to use funds from unused bond principal to pay additional interest due to refunding bond.
Any comments? Okay, Grace, move on.
Yeah, oh, sorry, this is Councilwoman Riley.
Yes.
I mean, Councilwoman Riley, sorry, this is Councilwoman Friedman, I apologize. Councilwoman Riley and I were discussing this, which is why I just said that. I just wanted to ask, oh no, I'm making myself confused. I apologize. We were discussing a question about resolution 117, and this is ordinance 117. I apologize.
Okay. Okay, Grace, move on, please.
Introductory ordinance 20-118, considered in employees, an ordinance amending the code of the city of Binghamton, chapter 124, personnel policies in various sections.
Comments? Okay, Grace.
Okay, introductory resolution 20-113, considered in public works, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into supplemental number 2 agreement with the New York State DOT to perform construction and construction supervision for PIN 975.04 Belden Street over Pierce Creek and Conklin Avenue over Pierce Creek.
Comments? Okay.
Introductory resolution 20-114, considered in finance, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Groom County Staff DWI program for overtime patrol for 2020.
Comments on this? Okay, Grace.
Introductory resolution 20-115, considered in finance, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Access Technology for parking kiosk maintenance.
Questions or comments on this? Okay, Grace.
Introductory resolution 20-116, considered in finance, a resolution to amend permanent resolution 20-30 to correct the budget line.
Comments on this? Okay, Grace.
Introductory resolution 20-117, considered in finance, a resolution authorizing an application and authority to accept grant funding from New York State Homes and Community Renewal under the New York Main Street program for the Boscov's apartment store facade.
Comments?
Yes, this is Councilwoman Friedman.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, not Councilwoman Riley, sorry. I was just wondering, so I was looking back at the information in the work session packet, and I just wanted to clarify, because it seems like the information that was given about this wasn't specifically about the Boscov's facade. I was just wondering where that, like how we determine that all of this money is going to the Boscov's facade.
I'm not sure. Sharon, can you answer that or not?
Hi, Tom. Just give me a second to pull up the resolution in the packet as it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Generally, when we accept grant funding for a particular source, we have to specify its use. And it's earmarked for that specific purpose. So I'm just taking a look at the terms of the res. So hold on one sec. I'm still with the ordinances. Yeah, so under the terms of the resolution itself, it's for Boscov's. That means the application for the grant can only be used for the purpose the council is designating, which is for the Boscov's department store facade located 11 Court Street, which is in the resolve paragraph, and in addition to the whereas paragraph of the resolution. Does that answer your question, Aviva?
Oh, sorry. I'm also trying to, let me just.
Yeah, so if you look at the
yeah,
language
so
of the resolution itself, it's designated, the only, like, you guys create the entity that is, I should say, the earmarking of this grant. And the earmarking of this grant, and I presume the application, because we can't apply for the grant broader than you guys are designating, is specifically for the facade of Boscov's department store pursuant to the New York Main Street program, and it has a specific location. So it has a very limited purpose.
I see. So that determination was made in the language of the resolution that we're looking at now, but is not necessarily present, or does not necessarily have to be present in the RL language. Is that correct?
Oh, you mean in the request for legislation?
Yes. So that's my question. It just seems like, the request for legislation doesn't say anything specifically about Boscov's, whereas the actual legislation says something about Boscov's. I was just confused. That seems to have been lost in translation there.
My understanding, sometimes requests for legislation can be quite broad in the actual text that is written. And then based off of discussion at the work session, the exact language is kind of honed in on. Here, no grant application beyond the scope of the resolution 2117 can be applied for, right? Council is designating a very specific purpose for this grant application, which is the Boscov's department store facade at 11 Court.
I see. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for everybody's patience as I waded through that packet.
No problem. All right, Grace, proceed to 2118, please.
Introductory Resolution 20-118, considered in Public Works. A resolution determining that the proposed City of Binghamton 6th Ward Interceptor Sewer Replacement Project is a Type 1 action and will not have significant adverse impact on the environment.
Comments on 2018? 118. Okay, Grace, proceed, please.
Introductory Resolution 20-119, considered in Public Works. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into professional service agreement with Labella Associates DPC for pedestrian safety action plan, PIN 9754.63 for construction and inspection.
Comments on this, please. Okay, Grace, proceed.
Introductory Resolution 20-120, considered in Public Works. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into professional service agreement with Labella Associates DPC for the Hawley Street and Washington Street traffic signal upgrade, PIN 9754.87 for construction inspection.
Comments on 20-120. Okay, Grace.
Introductory Resolution 20-121, considered in planning. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a lease with Bell Atlantic Mobile Systems LLC, DBA Verizon Wireless, for lease of 211 Henry Street for installation of the cellular antenna.
Comments on 20-121. Okay, Grace, proceed.
Introductory Resolution 20-122, considered in planning. A resolution authorizing the mayor to amend the contract with the chief for summer programming.
Comments? Okay, Grace.
Introductory Resolution 20-123, considered in planning, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an amended professional services agreement with CPL Architects, Engineers, Landscape Architect, and Surveyor, DPC, for a required muscle survey.
Comments on 123? Okay, Grace, proceed to 124, please.
Introductory Resolution 20-124, considered in planning, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Metro Interfaith for the Zombie 2.0 community outreach and education for foreclosure prevention assistance.
Comments on 124? Proceed to 125, please, Grace.
Introductory Resolution 20-125, considered in planning, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into agreements with various small businesses for distribution of COVID-19 CARES Act funds.
Comments on 20-125? Okay, Grace, proceed, please.
Introductory Resolution 20-126, considered in finance, a resolution authorizing the city of Binghamton to accept a Restore New York grant from Empire State Development's Strategic Planning and Feasibility Studies Program for the Stadium District Master's Plan in the amount of $50,000.
Comments on 20-126? Okay, Grace.
An introductory resolution 20-127, considered in municipal and public affairs, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement to extend the lease of the city property to the Southern Tier Zoological Society.
Quick comments on 127?
Mr. President,
I'll take a
motion
motion.
to approve the preferred agenda.
Second.
Okay, I need a second. Second. All right, Grace, roll call, please.
Councilman Scaringi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ressinetti,
Aye.
Councilwoman Riley,
Aye.
Councilwoman Friedman,
Aye.
Councilman Burns,
Aye.
Councilman Strawn,
Aye.
President Scanlon.
Aye.
All right, that's 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Okay, on to non-preferred agenda. Introductory ordinance 20-111, considering finance, Councilman Strawn.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask council for unanimous consideration of introductory ordinance 20-111. This is an ordinance to amend the 2020 fire department budget for relocation expenses.
Second.
Questions or comments on this? All right, Jill seconded it. Roll call, please, Grace.
Can we call the question?
Call the question, Mr. President.
Thank you, Jill. Roll call, please, Grace.
Yes. Okay, Councilman Scaringi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ressinetti,
Aye.
Councilwoman Riley,
Aye.
Councilwoman Friedman,
Aye.
Councilman Burns,
Aye.
Councilman Strawn,
Aye.
President Scanlon.
Aye.
That's 7 ayes, 0 nays.
And now to communication from council members, and we start off with Councilwoman Ressinetti tonight.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, just a couple quick things. Actually, a whole lot of thank yous. First, big thank you to DPW for a job very well done. We all know this was an unprecedented snowfall, and I was so happy to see everyone work together to clear the streets as soon as possible. Thank you to DOT. A big thank you to Mayor Rich David and Deputy Mayor Cram for the role that they play in all this, making sure that things are moving along smoothly. I know you're all out there driving around and being part of that team. So thank you so much for that. Bigger thank you to the residents who moved their cars and did the best they could to allow for a quicker, safer cleanup, but also for the kindness everyone, so many of you showed to each other, checking in with your neighbors and lending a helping hand. So thank you for that. On December 12th, I hosted a Toys for Tots Drive event at Rec Park, and I just cannot tell you how thankful I am at the response of the community. You will be bringing so many smiles on children's faces this holiday, and I thank you for that. Of course, Binghamton Police Department and other local law enforcement agencies have been involved with Toys for Tots for years, I think since 1962. So thank you for everything that you do. And with that, lastly, I just want to say happy holidays to all, and may 2021 bring peace and love to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. On to Councilwoman Riley, please.
Good evening, you guys. I'm having a little bit of difficulty with my Wi-Fi, so I will not be before you long. I too want to echo the sentiments of Councilwoman Rezanetti. It was rough out there, and it was, we waved and thanked our DPW as we plowed out of our various snow banks. So we want to just recognize those men and women that were out there. I do also have to mention, I received a phone call from the mayor detailing the plan to share with our constituents. And I did tell him that type of communication is what we've been asking for. So I was thankful to have a few calls. In fact, we made a couple of calls, chain calls to various people, not only in DPW, but within on his team to kind of address some of the concerns of the residents. I also want to thank the neighbors, like Sophia said, that reached out and helped another neighbor. I mean, we had people literally using whatever they had to make sure our seniors, as well as some of the other residents that may not have had the necessary equipment, were able to get out of their homes safely. And our mail people, let's give them a round of applause, because I saw my mailman leap over that same pile that I didn't move to make sure my Christmas presents were delivered safely. So let's give them, again, all of our hearty support. Like I said, I'm having some Wi-Fi trouble, so I just want to tell everyone to have a great holiday, a Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, and Sharon, we'll miss you. Thank you for being here and bringing us into this process. We know you'll be in the building, so we'll look for you, and we look forward to you coming back to our team. Thank you all, and have a great holiday.
Thank you, Councilwoman. On to Councilwoman Friedman, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would also like to echo the sentiments of Councilwoman Ressanetti and Councilwoman Riley that everyone has been working hard day and night to clear the snow and make it safe to drive. So thank you again to everyone who have been working tirelessly to ensure that we can get to where we need to go. I mentioned this at the work session, but I was fortunate enough to not have to leave my house for about 2 days after the snowfall. So I can't personally attest, but I know that my roommates had to get to work the next day, and they were able to scoot out of our driveway and get to their jobs. So it's been an incredible team effort, and I want to thank everybody who is involved. Also, happy holidays, whatever holiday you might be celebrating at this time. Happy New Year, and see you all in 2021.
Thank you, Councilwoman. On to Councilman Strawn, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Don't want to belabor the point, but it probably needs to be belabored. I do also want to express my gratitude to DPW in the city and the mayor. As Councilwoman Riley said, he called me right during the height of the storm, and we went over several of the streets and tried to lay an expectation that was reasonable, but also that there was definitely some issues, but clearly a better response than from what I remember of the March 2017 spring snowfall. I think that just shows that the city was prepared as best as you can be. It's hard to be prepared for 40 40 plus inches of snow totally under any circumstance. But clearly, lessons were learned from that snowfall and were acted on. And I think that shows a good planning and a good process to learn from the past and move forward. So I want to thank them for that. I do think that we'll have to continue, at least from some over here. I think we'll have to continue the teamwork between city and residents on some of the sidewalk areas and some of the corners of the streets that there was no place else to put the snow. But I want to make sure that the pedestrian traffic can get cleared up as well over the next week or so. So I'm hoping that we can continue to work together to continue some of the sidewalk work. I've seen some people walking in the streets, which is very dangerous as well. So I'm hoping that we can continue to work on that under this unprecedented storm. So, but to say the least, it's been a challenging year, and I think we've all worked well together. So I want to thank you all for that, especially with us, many of us being new. And but I'm thankful for the opportunity and look forward to, as I think everyone hoping 2021 looks a little different at some point. But just want to thank you all for being good partners, and wish everyone out there a happy holiday and Merry Christmas, and get some rest and time with family and friends, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Now to Councilman Burns.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to echo same thing about the storm. It was great to get phone calls from John Paddock and the mayor, and would return my text and call right away. And that communication was fabulous. And I had complaints from there's a couple of dead ends that we have here that are really long dead ends, and I'm sure that they're always last because it would take literally 4 times as long to get to these streets. And I felt bad for the people on the street, telling them that they're going to be last, but it was reality. You know what I mean? And they yelled at me and all that sort of stuff. But I think that overall the city did a great job. And and as everybody was talking, thanking everybody, I got thinking about the police department and the fire department and our other first responders, that throughout that, while it was snowing, throughout the whole thing, they still had to go do their calls and everything, and they do them. And it's just so, I feel so grateful that, there are some cities that don't have the great departments that we have taking care of us. So I'm very grateful for all that. Anyway, I wish everybody a happy holiday, Merry Christmas. My grandson and I we had fun watching the excavator. He's 2 years old and he knows the word excavator. And they have these huge trucks that were doing the snow, with lifting the snow up into the big dump truck. And we sat there for about half an hour watching it. Anyway, that's my long, boring story. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Councilman. Now to Councilman Scaringi.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to echo a lot of what preceded me, obviously the store was very huge, record-setting. I really want to thank the DPW. They really did a phenomenal job, and our response was very heightened in contrast to a few years ago, back in 2017. Definitely want to thank Mayor David, coordinated with me a few times as he was out making rounds and I was out making rounds, and it was great to have that really quick follow-up. I definitely want to thank John Patton, Mark Donovan and John Paddock and Bernice St. Clair and everybody in the DPW, especially turning around after this and going around and picking up garbage and recyclables in this incredibly cold weather. I know that was a lot of work. Please make sure you're checking on your neighbors, especially seniors, people with pets. In addition, I think it's also very, very important, if possible, just because it's cold outside doesn't mean that a fire can't occur. If you have a fire hydrant that is near your home, try to clear that as best as you can. That's a big one because that can very, very much impact response times. I'm sure people have noticed throughout many of the neighborhoods throughout the city. I want to thank the state DOT workers as well, who have been working with the bigger machines and hauling away the snow in areas that are really impacting the sides of roads. With that, I definitely want to also thank our guardsmen who have definitely been out, who have been called to active duty to help out throughout this entire process throughout Broome County as well. And lastly, if you're able to, please keep in mind we're going to have a very, very drastic big weather change coming up over the next couple days. If you have part of your roof on your home that does not have much of a pitch or an angle to it, if you're able to clear some of that snow off, that's going to be really, really important, because we're going to be getting upwards of 52 degrees, an inch and a half of rain, and then going back down into 20 degrees over the next couple of days within less than 24 hours. And that's going to add a lot of weight. So please make sure you're watching out for that as well. But other than that, Sharon, we're very much going to miss you. And we know you're still going to be in City Hall. So we're going to be very excited to have you back, when the time allows. And just want to wish everyone a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman. I'll be brief. Obviously, it's been a challenging year for everyone. From these meetings, from the Zoom meetings, and we've made our way through it, which is, and I appreciate everybody's input and everybody's effort to make our way through these meetings. And you think we have a lot to be thankful for. There's a lot less fortunate people than us out there, and that hopefully keep them in your mind and prayers as we go through the holiday season here. But I'm thankful for all first responders, especially the Binghamton Police Department, the men and women, who keep us safe day in and day out. And as somebody mentioned earlier, as Joe mentioned, they were out there doing their job through the snow, trying to make through it. And I thank God they're out there keeping us all safe, along with the men and women of the fire department and for all first responders for that matter. So again, I appreciate everybody's effort on City Council this year. Seems like it was a 2-year period, but it was only one. But again, I appreciate everybody's input and help. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved, Mr. President.
Second.
We're adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Bye, Sharon.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, everyone.